Welcome to Synchronicity. No guest this week. I was going to do a guest episode. I have a couple, but I thought it would be nice just to do a regular old solo cast. Yes, we still have bonus episodes on the Patreon. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed recently. I hope you're enjoying the episodes, the readings, the live streams, the fun times, the music. You know what to do. Everything is at patreon.com/synchronicity. If you want to become a patron, there are multiple tiers for you to choose from. I don't gotta sell you on it. You know how this stuff works in this day and age. Remember when the internet didn't exist? Were you alive then? I was. It was weird. It was almost, in many ways, it was less weird to have literally not everything at your fingertips all of the time. That was an interesting way to navigate life. Now, it's not the same. I think I was talking about it on a live stream on the Patreon this past week, how there's a fundamental shift in spiritual seeking, pathing. I don't know what you would call it. I think it's more commonplace that a lot of things that we would typically put in the spiritual realm back in the day are now just like taken for granted, right? It's just people trying to be complete, happy, hopeful, kind, generous souls. You got to be crazy to not want to do that, right? What are you trying to do in this life? Here's the main question that I think we're all trying to get to, whether we know it or not. Is everything okay? Are you okay? Is it going to be okay? Those are the big questions, right? You're free when you choose to be. That's a big one. That's something that I think a lot of people forget at various times and places, myself included. I've been clear. I don't always remember this stuff. I try to inundate myself. I try to surround myself with memories and reasons to engage with the truth of reality, that your imagination is God and that quite literally creates your reality. But it's easy to go to sleep for a while. It's easy to fall asleep and forget and, just kind of go back into humdrum, what is life? Baby, don't hurt me, that type of thing. You know what I'm talking about. But what a time to be alive, right? We just had daylight savings time. That's always a weird one. Let's just make it dark for everyone. I'm sure that's good for our moods. Have you been having a hard time with the weather getting colder in the northern hemisphere? Let's make it dark super early for no fucking reason anymore. Really, the farmers? I don't think so. I don't think that's what it is. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Anyway, I sense a lot of people are kind of like coming together now back into soul pod groups or connective mycelial layers, if you want to put it like that. It just feels like kind of a vibe that we're entering. I've been talking about how 2023 was a tumultuous year, to say the least. I would say not one of my favorite years in terms of what I personally have been through, but happy to be almost through it. And I can feel kind of the energy. At the same time, I can feel the energy coming in for 2024 and beyond. I can still feel the reverberations of 2023. Can I get an amen, if you know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. But it hasn't all been doom and gloom, right? There's been a lot of maturation. There's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of progress. Is that a fucking fly? I have a mixed relationship with flies. They tend to come and surround when death and change are in the air. It's Scorpio season, so it makes a lot of sense that we'd be seeing flies. But they're also they buzz around, and it's like, bruh, I'm trying to do my thing, right? Have you ever tried persisting and assuming you already are the person you want to be? Or maybe possibly we have the power to shape our reality by rearranging our minds through assumption, allowing us to become what we want to be. You ever try that? Did you forget to forgive yourself again, you silly goose? Are you giving yourself a hard time? Are you being tough on yourself? Are you saying things internally to yourself that you would never say to another person? Don't do that. What are you doing? That's not the game we're trying to play here. Confident expectation of a state is the most potent means of bringing it about. Do you know what I mean? You have to expect it. You have to know it's true. I understand sometimes our minds, our brains, our nervous systems, our health, our relationships, our family, our bank accounts can all kind of lead us to this narrative that ain't happening. It's not working. Shit is hard. It's no good. I don't like it. What are we going to do? And I get it. Just recognize you're telling yourself that story, and it's up to you to kind of tell yourself a different story. The power of mind and speech, you can actually create the life you want by transforming and renewing your inner conversations, right? That's the word of God, creating life. We think of like we tend to look pejoratively down on like the Bible or religious texts that are so like, God does this, God created the earth in 7 days or 6 days and then he rested, and we're like, oh God, what bozos for believing this. There's some deity in space that created all this stuff. What dinguses. But that's not what it's trying to convey. It's not someone outside of you. It's your own conception of reality and yourself. Now, if this gets you discouraged, this is not to say you're doing something wrong. If things are not conforming to what you believe, have a little bit of faith. You know what I mean? Loyalty to the unseen world. I've found that there are 3 things that when we're truly trying to manifest, are we going to use that word? Let's use that word. Repetition. You got to keep doing the stuff. That's not an actual song. I just made up that jingle. You got to keep doing the stuff. You also have to have faith, that loyalty to the unseen world. You cannot just go by what your sense perception tells you. It is a very unreliable reporter of what is actually going on. Very. And then finally, expectancy. Expect good things. Expect good times. Expect good relationships. Expect harmony, love. Does it mean if you get presented with situations where those are not the dominating forces that somehow you are wrong and that it didn't work? No. Also, I just want to give like a thought experiment here. Like, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say this is just a massive delusion. I've taken too many psychedelics and someone played me Neville Goddard at the wrong time and I just believed all this stuff because I am a magical thinker who can't escape the crushing brutality of living life in the modern age and I'm so off track. Well, wouldn't it just be more fun to have fun with it and believe this stuff? Is it hurting anyone? Are you hurting someone? Is that your fear? That if you believe that you can believe in yourself to shape your reality, somehow you're hurting someone, or it's wrong for you, or it's bad? Is that what you think? Because if that's what you think, subconsciously, trust me, that's what you'll get. But you can transform yourself by, we'll use the term meditating. That's what we'll call that state akin to sleep when we try our imaginal acts. But on a phrase, just a phrase. Mine's thank you. I say thank you. That implies your ideal. Affirm it repeatedly. There's your repetition. Control your inner conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Make sure that if you catch yourself thinking some yucky thoughts towards yourself, you go, oh, not today, friend. Not for me. I'd rather not do this game right now. I recognize my tendency and my awareness is pulling me towards a place of self-deprecation and misery and melancholy. But for now, let's put that aside and just expect some good things, right? Use your imagination to bring your ideal into reality as negative inner talking shapes our lives and the world. That's the truth. Now, we develop a weird affection for negative inner talking, whether that's gossiping about other people, assuming the worst, looking out in the world and seeing the worst. And listen, there's a whole sample platter of misery to choose from, right? But we develop this weird affection for it, justifying failures, criticizing others, and perpetuating violence, whether physically, emotionally, psychologically. It's just something we tend to do because we get seduced by what we see out in the world. And if what you see is negativity, if what you see is failure, if what you feel is failure, if what you feel is resistance, if what you feel is inauthenticity, well then, what do you think your reality will reflect back to you, right? But the meditation of this phrase that implies the realization of your ideal, if you affirm it repeatedly, it affects you internally. Hold on to your convictions, control your inner conversation, and use your imagination to bring your ideal into reality. Actively, vividly, using your imagination creates the reality you desire. It is the gateway to your desired state and the only important thing within the circle of imagination. That's it. It allows you to bring your dreams into the present. And by observing your inner conversation, you can prophesize your future and understand that everything you encounter is a manifestation of your thoughts. I'm sure you've caught on to this by now, right? This isn't like some crazy cockamamie idea. Maybe you've just tuned into this podcast for the first time and you're like, what is this dude talking about? This shit makes no sense. This guy's lost the plot. Why am I listening to this? There's something better I can do. Please, I'm not denying that. I have thoughts on this. I share these thoughts because they help me. That's part of why I do this. I have excess energy. This is just something I've learned about myself. And if I don't burn it off and I allow it to stagnate, I just get really cranky. It's no fun for anyone. So this is one of the ways I get out my energy. Get out of my own way, maybe. Get out my energy. I try to move, stay active, but I got to get this stuff out because if I don't get it out, it just gets yuck. So I put it out on a podcast like a lunatic. The podcast is relatively well received, and I appreciate that. Tell a friend. Subscribe, like, and review. What can I say? Anyone know any weed companies, by the way? If any weed company is looking to, or weed accessory company is looking to do sponsorships, I'd love to. I'm ready for weed deals. I'm ready. I'm inviting that in. So if you or someone you know works at a company, I have an active listener base, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you like weed. I've not been shy over the years of mentioning my affinity for cannabis. It's pretty good stuff. Let's be honest. Normally you hear about drugs and how bad they are for you. This is actually good for you. Not for everyone. Sometimes it gives people the heebie-jeebies because what it does is it brings your subconscious to the surface, and you have to deal with some of those repressed things sometimes, like anxiety, paranoia, fear. Well, those aren't fun things to deal with unless when they come up, you have the proper response, which is, an opportunity for growth, for progress, for transformation, from realizing everything is okay. Oh my God, what a novel concept. Security, peace, freedom, love are well within your grasp because they are what you are made of. What? But if you believe the story that things are hard, if things are getting more difficult by the day, your experience will back that up. That's the crazy thing is you will get back the feedback you put out into the world. So no one can invalidate your perspective. If someone says, I'm not having a good time, this feels like shit, you can't say to them, no, you're having a great time and this feels amazing. That doesn't work. You ever try to do that for yourself? You see people thrive and you're doing well, but maybe you're not right there in your headspace right now and you see it. How do you react? Do you go, oh, I'm super happy for those people. Oh, I recognize I feel the same way. Or do you go, fuck that. I wish I could feel like that. Or fuck those people. How can they be having a good time? Don't they know how much shit sucks? Stay away from that type of thinking. Stay away from those type of people until you know how to engage positively with that type of energy. There are way too many people in the world who want to focus on the negative. It is the easy way out. It is the easy perspective to focus on how shitty things are. It is not denying that shitty things happen to not focus on it all of the time. That is a clear distinction that I would like to make, if possible. Can I make that distinction? Is it possible to make that distinction? That shitty things happen, but you don't have to focus on them all of the time? Especially if you don't have a productive way of dealing with shitty things. If you don't have the tools, skills, innate talents to deal with that type of stuff and that way of thinking, what are you doing hanging around with it? It's like hanging around a gang. You don't want to be in a gang, but you just want to hang around the people in the gang and you think somehow you're going to be immune from getting, roped into being in a gang. You want to be in the Crips? You want to be in the Bloods? Hang around the Crips and the Bloods. You don't want to be in the Crips and the Bloods? Don't hang around the Crips and the Bloods. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. The moods your inner conversations create, right, will indicate the need for a change in your thoughts. For instance, let's say you notice yourself thinking, I can't do it. It's really hard. I don't feel well. I don't think it's going to work out. It's not happening. It didn't happen for me. It's going to be the same old story. That just indicates you got to change your fucking thoughts there. You know what I'm saying? Guy or gal, you got to change your thoughts. Your minds are shaped by the words you feed them. So you should try to only fill your mind with loving and noble thoughts to build a positive world. Your interior world will cascade out into your external reality. It is as sure as shit. I don't know if that's the best phrase to use for a positive, uplifting message, but we're going with it. In my best moments, I feel that as a totally present, felt truth, right? In my disconnected moments, that feels like hogwash. It feels like, well, easy for you to say higher self. You come down here and get encapsulated into a mortal body with all these different issues you got to face and obligations and responsibilities. And higher self is like, fuck no, dude. That's what I sent you here to do. I bifurcated my consciousness so I can stay and fucking up here and pull the puppet strings and play the video game. You can be the character. You go through that. It's like, oh man, myself, what did you do? Sometimes I'm not even good at being a human being. Why did you put me here? Why am I here? What is it for? It's for fun. Mostly. Doesn't mean it's always gonna be fun. Big distinction. Get it through your head. I mean, I'm just trying to like be a little more cognizant of where people are at. I think there's for validity in saying like, hey, I'm the type of person who's only here to work or talk to people who have had, positive thoughts and uplifting lives and recognizes their own innate divinity and power to shape their reality. But that's not where I am all of the time. So it's important to kind of try to be like, hey, if you're not there, if you're having trouble, if you're struggling a little bit, maybe, it's okay. That's okay too. You didn't fail. You didn't do wrong. Just remember, don't forget to forgive yourself. That's really an important thing. And what does forgiveness imply? It implies that there's something you did that maybe you didn't like to do or didn't want to do. That's a prereq for forgiveness. You don't forgive someone for being perfect. Wow, that would be annoying. I'm sorry that you're so perfect. Who wants to be friends with a perfect person? That sounds annoying to me. Anyway, I've decided personally to stop playing the game on super hard mode every few years because I'm like Danny Glover, getting too old for this shit. I cannot do it every few years. I can't oscillate between absolute extreme peak level abundance and flow and then misery, that's not for me anymore. I'm too old for this shit. I'm looking for a little more stability. I don't need life to be easy all the time. I don't even need it to be fun. I don't even need it to be fulfilling all of the time. But I would like some stability. I would like some foundational stuff. So what do I do? What do I say to myself in that? I am at peace. Everything's okay. Do you know everything is okay? That's the first question you kind of have to ask yourself as you face your challenges and your days and your battles and your threshold guardians and your situations and your responsibilities and your obligations. Is everything okay? Do you know that it is? Is it okay? That's really the truth. Is it okay? If you can honestly answer that question with the feeling of satisfaction and peace, knowing it's okay. It really is. Then you're on to something. If you're still debating the validity and truth of that, that's okay. Keep going. That's also okay. You don't have to have that feeling right now. But know that it is. Know that it is. I wouldn't be up here telling you, up here like I'm on some podium, I wouldn't be out here saying it's okay if it's not okay. Does that mean you're going to get out of this game alive? Nope, you're not. You're not. You are not. We are probably not. Imagine if we lived in the timeline where we find like immortality during our lives. What if there was immortality, but you couldn't go back to like, you can't reverse aging. So they find immortality and you're like 80. Would you take it at 80? Who wants to be 80 forever? Bleh. I mean, I don't know. Hey, maybe 80's not so bad. I don't want to talk shit about 80. Maybe 80's fine. My parents are going to be 80 in like a decade or so. Yeah, I don't want to be a dick. But immortal life sounds a little bit better when you're in your like 20s, 30s, even 40s. Like immortality is sounding a little more. I personally wouldn't want to be immortal in a physical realm. Just think how bleak and scary. I'm not scared, but just like bleak that would be. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in. I also don't want to upload myself to the computers. I know people are into that. And no one's putting a chip in my fucking head. Oh my God. Oh, jeez. I know they pick only the Elon is only picking the sick monkeys and the terminal monkeys to do the experiments on, but Jesus Christ, don't put nothing in my brain, guys. It's already weird up there. I don't need a thing making it more weird. Cryptocurrency is coming back. I don't want to say too much about it. I do have a course. You can check it out. The link is in my Instagram bio, and there's other places you can find it. It's called Crypto Consciousness. I'm only bringing this up because sometimes it can feel like people only talk about crypto when it's going up. I'm trying to like get ahead of the game for those of you who have ears to hear, who maybe don't want to be shackled to a system of 9 to 5 or grind month to month, and have some tolerance for risk and understand that this is cyclical and things will be going up at some point. In 2024 and 2025 look like pretty good years in terms of years to go up. If you're interested in that course, go check it out. I'm going to raise the price on it pretty soon. I think right now it's like $111. It's like a 7 or 8 module course. I did it over the summer. It's pretty cool, I got to say. I'm going to raise the price to it soon. Whatever. Fuck it. It's good. I'm happy. To me, crypto is more of like it's a vibe. It's not just an investing strategy and tool. Obviously, it pays to be familiar with the technicals of blockchain technology and other stuff that is in the realm. But really, it has a lot to do with your inner capacity for abundance and living well. So if you're interested in that, you can go find it. I'm just bringing it up because shit's up going not so bad in that realm. Working on a Lana Del Rey remix of her song Heroin. It's pretty cool. It's like it's got an 80s vibe to it. My edit, I should say. It's not really a remix. But now, man, what you can do with songs and stuff, it's so cool. You can strip all the individual component parts. Excuse me. Am I yawning in my own podcast? Jesus, that's a good sign. I'm boring myself in my own podcast. I was just saying I really enjoy this Lana Del Rey song, and I'm editing it. I'll put the edit up on Patreon. Maybe I'll put a teaser. Maybe it'll be the music for this if I get this out in time. Apparently, schools decide that your children will only be attending 2 days a week at various points out of the 5 days of the week for them to attend school. So that's what's happening this week. 3 days off my 7-year-old has. Public school is both pretty cool, I gotta say, but also like, what are you doing? Like, what is Superintendent's Day? Superintendent's Day. What? Should not be a day off. Schedule that shit on Saturday, guys. Am I right or am I right? Jeez Louise. Anyway, I could make up shit to talk about for another 10 minutes. Any major downloads? All the downloads, all the reading stuff I'm putting on the Patreon. I don't want to bore you guys with my predictive prognostications about what's going on in the world and yada, yada, yada. I put that over there. That's where we have fun. We do that on the live streams. But if you would like that stuff, it's there. If this is enough for you on a weekly or bi-weekly basis and you like to get stuff, then we're good. We're good to go. It's fun. Any cool shit I should know about, email me at noah@syncpodcast.com. If you think there's podcasts out there that I would like, if you think there's cool stuff out there that I'm missing, I'm always open to fun stuff. I've also personally been putting up a lot of videos on mindpodnetwork.com. Mindpod Network was a podcast network I had a long time ago. The people over at Love Serve Remember Foundation, good old Ragu and them. We had a amicable-ish divorce years back, but Mindpod Network lives on as a YouTube channel, basically that I've just put up old audio talks from Neville Goddard, Manly P. Hall, Chogyam Trungpa, some Alan Watts stuff in there. I just clean up the audio and put those files up. So you can go check those out on the YouTube channel. That's a cool place because that's what I go to when I need a hit or like a boost, an energetic juicing, so to speak. I just go listen to talks of people who I think are tuned into a frequency that makes me feel good. Isn't that what we're doing here, right? Isn't that the point? Anyway, fun stuff. The Dolphins lost. Can we beat a good team? Honestly, we were in that game. It's just Tyreek Hill fumbled the ball and they returned it like a bajillion yards for a touchdown. That was literally the difference. I think in a way it's good if you're kind of under the radar and like sneak up people on the end of the year and they think you can't beat them and then you can. But like, come on, just beat a good team, guys. 6-3. We can do it. Go Dolphins. All right, that's it. I think good episode. I got to say, short, sweet, to the point. You got this shit. Are you okay? Is it okay? It's okay. Do you know that though, for real? Get to the point. Do whatever you need to do to know that. That's your goal. That's my advice to you. Get to the point where you know this shit is okay. Once you get to the point where you know it's okay, hey, maybe then it can be even pretty good. Maybe it can be great. Maybe it can be excellent. Maybe it can be incredible. Maybe it can be dreamlike. Maybe it can be amazing. Who thought of that? But just get to the point where you know it's okay no matter what. Because if you think that shit is going to be bad or get harder or is hard, that is what you will get. I know that's annoying. I know it's annoying. I know it's so annoying when like you're in that energy and you just feel like you can't get out. But that's when you just let go and you just surrender and you say, I'm done. Done with that way of thinking. Let me try this other stuff, even if it feels a little bit foolish. I was going to say a bit foolish. It's not the terminology I'm looking for. We'll go with a little bit foolish. All right, guys, I will see you next week with some form of episode, the Patreon with the bonus episodes. You know what it is, all that stuff. Lots of love. Until then, happy imagining.